Welcome to Evermore Creative Art Studio. I'm Lauren, and this is part 2 of the photo transfer masterboards. When we started them, I showed you how I transfer magazine images onto a base, and this one's 110 cream cardstock, using a gel medium. And today I'm going to fill in all those white spaces now and make it a little bit more interesting. I'm adding some stamps. And I'm using, vintage photo, and it's a bit light, so I switched to walnut stain. And I love the colors, but I have regrets using this type of ink because it's a distress ink, and I'm putting it onto a non-porous surface, which is the gel medium. When I go to adhere my napkins, I'm using just regular Mod Podge now, and the wetness of it takes off it starts smearing the distress ink around. So I'm trying to salvage it right now and carefully put the Mod Podge on. And in a second, I just kind of give up and smear it anyway. You know, I can always stamp again on top of the napkins if I want to. This was just going to be too tedious to try and avoid going over them, and then I wouldn't get a good adhesion for the napkins. So yeah, lesson learned. Don't use distress inks on top of a non-porous surface if I want them to be permanent at all. So I did find, I have an archival ink that's in partnership with Tim Holtz Distress Inks, and they are permanent when put down on any surface, and I just forgot that I had them actually. My stuff's been in storage for a while, so, but I have dug them out, so next time that's what I'm going to use. So if you do use the distress inks, just be careful. Try and use a permanent ink if you can. And so now I'm just adding some napkins, just the top part of the napkin. They're 3-ply, sometimes 2-ply, but usually 3-ply. And you have to take the bottom 2 blank plies away so that you can get a good solid adhesion with the image. And then it makes it translucent too, so you can see right through them. It's a really pretty effect. If you haven't tried it, you should really give it a go. So I'm just putting them randomly wherever I think they're going to fit okay. And I've picked neutral, not very feminine or floral patterns for this. Something that would go with the sepia of the sepia tone of the photos themselves. I think I wanted that there. I just flip it around, you know, let's turn it upside down. These are all going to be little individual images, so it doesn't have to be one directional. Sometimes flipping things around gives me a different perspective, and sometimes it's just easier to reach the area I want to work on. Thinking. A little bit more up there, and it's sort of coming together now. I kind of like how it's looking. You gotta find just the right one. Any more? Do I want more? More is not always best. No. Now I'm on to the second one that I did, and I've already done the stamping. So now I'm just going to start putting down my napkins. I didn't put as much stamping down on this one. I'm not sure why, but I kind of like it. It's not very busy. You know, less is more, and you can always add more later afterwards when everything's all in place. So I picked a pretty floral napkin to go with the florals on the image. It's the same napkin that I used in my collaged eggs that I did a while ago. And it's just sweet. I like it. It's pretty, it's light, it's like spring. I am craving some springtime right now. Winter just doesn't want to quit. There. Now this ink isn't smearing, if you noticed. This is archival ink. And it's just black. But it's working really well. And the black works nice on this one too. I wanted the browns for the sepia tone on the other pictures, so this one I like the black. Now that scratchy place that was really way too much white showing through, where I did not lay down enough gel medium when I put my image down, I'm going to hide it a little bit with some more flowers. And it works okay. I mean, I'm not trying to completely disguise it because I can't, but that really helped. It's hard to tell kind of what that one is anyway, so it's okay. They don't all work out, but the ones that do, they're really kind of nice. So I'll take the bad with the good. I'll learn as I go. And I'm using a nice variety of the napkins on this one, and I can. It's got more color to it in the images I used, and it gives you a little bit more freedom when you're, you know, trying to pick something that you like to go on the rest. I really like this neutral gray and white, sort of a ferny floral pattern. Too much color can be a little chaotic, and the eye likes to have a place to rest. So those might be a little bit of a resting place. Now, hard to tell too until you cut it up into pieces what everything's going to look like when it's done. And sometimes you can have one that you think is just gorgeous on the full board, and then cut it and it's like, ooh, okay, that's not so great. And then you can have one that you're thinking, this is for the scrap pile. Cut it out and it's like, oh, wow, if I did this to it, that would be really pretty. And that's half the fun of it for me, I think, is sort of not really knowing what's going to happen. Now, I better fill up my glue bottle. There we go. So I'm using the matte Mod Podge. Again, you could probably use glossy. I just prefer the matte. And glossy, I like glossy finishes when I'm done. Sometimes, but on my working images, I like the matte or the satin finishes. Now I have this embossed napkin. Isn't it pretty? I've never seen anything like this before. Thought it was so beautiful, and I tried gluing it down on just a book page to see what it would do, and used a little bit of distress ink over top, and that's really nice. I quite like it. maybe a bit dark on the ink, but it really brought out like the highlights caught it really well. So I'm thinking I might put some down there. I don't know really what glue I want to use. I'm afraid if I use the Mod Podge that it's going to totally saturate the napkin and I'm going to lose the embossing. I can't remember what I used when I did it on the book page, so oh, it's pretty under there too. It's all the way through. What if you could run a regular napkin through an embossing machine? I don't see why not. Something new to try. So I decided to use a glue stick because it's not as wet as the Mod Podge. And I'm hoping that I'll get a good stick without losing that raised embellishment. And it worked out not too bad. Oh, now this, you see that little line there? That is where the paper ended, and there's a ridge of built up gel medium there. It's not attractive, but I can hide it. I can cover it up. I'm going to put a piece of napkin over top of it, and that should be enough just to cover it up a little bit. And I don't know what I want. I think I want one of these colors, but I don't know which one for sure. Kind of liking that teal kind of color. It goes nice with the other napkin that's down below, the sort of florally one. And I need a little bit more of something, so that's too small of a piece for me to tear, so I'm going to get my water brush and just paint a line of water and help it tear. There, something like that. Or not. Okay, well then, what about this one? Oh, well, that one makes me very happy. It does. It goes so nice with the other teal colors. It's got florals. It's just got, well, it's not yellow, but it's close enough. Yeah, for my mind, it's just a good match. Now I'm going to use it. There, once I reconstruct where I want them to go. There. I wanted something that would get rid of that built-up line, but I didn't want to put any kind of heavy design too close to the bird because it would probably take away from that bird. So that works. That works nice. I'm really pleased with that. And now I'm going to add some more in other places. Not that they'll be on the same tag or card when I cut it all out, but I just cannot put one element down in one place on anything and not put it somewhere else. It's been ingrained in me to, if you use an element in one place on a piece, use it in two more, because the eye likes odd numbers, and 3 is just right most of the time. It's not too much, it's not too little. So that's what I do. That kind of helps me keep a little balance in what I'm doing. Things can go on randomly for me, but they're not completely random. I do have a bit of a thought process about composition and color values and such. It's not complicated, you know. A lot of people do it naturally. I've learned it over many years. Yeah, if anybody's interested in a bit of color or art theory, let me know, because, you know, it's like I said, it's pretty simple once you learn it, but until you're told or taught, maybe sometimes you just don't think of things. So yeah, if that's something that anyone is interested in, I would be very happy to do a video tutorial to kind of explain some of the fundamentals of two-dimensional art. So yeah, let me know in the comments below or send me a message and I'll put it on my list. So I'm thinking I'm pretty happy with this right now. So I'm just going to go ahead now and trim up the edges, get rid of the hangy offy guys. There, that's better. So now I need to decide where I want to cut my cards and my tags out. So I have 2 pieces of cardstock that I've cut, and they're just right angles and they're about 2 inches thick, and I just put them over a spot and use them to frame a piece of it. You can use it for artwork, you can use it for anything. With Masterboard, it's really good. It helps to isolate an image, and then you can see if you like that or if you got to do something a little different. So it's a really handy tool. It's probably the cheapest tool I have too, because it's just paper, made it myself. So I'm lining it up now with the horizontal lines on my cutting mat, and then I'm going to line my ruler up with the vertical line, and that just gives me a straight line with 90-degree angles on my cards. And I could use a paper cutter, excepting that I'm not going to draw straight on through, because I want the individual images to be a focal point of the cards I make. I'm going to have to cut them out individually, so it takes a little extra fiddling to measure them out and cut them nicely, but in the end it works out well, it pays off. And I don't mind fiddling things, and I kind of like it. It's kind of awful to watch though, so I'm just going to speed this up now and get through the measuring toot sweet. I keep lining up, like making sure that my paper is lined up on my cutting board. It shifts a little bit with the movements, so I just keep checking to make sure that I'm still cutting straight lines. Well, drawing them. I guess I haven't started cutting them yet, hey? And now I can use my cutter. Sometimes I just use scissors too. Works out well. Good enough. But if I can use my paper cutter, I'm sure going to. There, now I've done all my cutouts for this masterboard. Sorry, I'm a bit off center there. Yeah, I'm okay with those. And now onto the other one. I'm just going to trim the edges up. There. Now I just need to kind of figure out where I want to make my cuts on this. And everything's fairly straightforward on this. I don't really think I need to use my little square framing tool. I think I'm just going to go ahead and wing it. That one's going to be a tall card. or a tag. It's going to be tall, whatever it is. There. Now let's go straight up. And then I stop there. I don't need all that extra on the top. Might get a belly band or something out of it. We'll see. Yeah, no, I'm just going to wing it. There we go. So this is them cut. That one's a nice crop. And that one's interesting. And this one is just tissue. And I like that too. It turned out pretty. Same with that one. But I think the bird's my favorite. I like the bird. And that one has no real image on it, but it's nice. Just plain, and a little pot-belly stove. And that truck. That white spot bothers me, but I'm going to fix that. And the old house. It's haunted. This, you can't tell what it is, but I'm going to fix it too. A lot of these need some touching up. But I'll take care of that in the next video. The one coming up after this is decorating. So I've got some cards that I've decorated already. Of course, this isn't from the transfers that you watched me do in the previous video. These are ones I'd already done. I'm just using them as an example of decorating the cards and tags when you're finished. So that's what we're going to do in part 3 of photo transfer masterboards, is actually decorate the cards and tags that I've made already. So if you like this one, please give it a thumbs up and go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and ring that little bell so you can be notified when I put new videos up. And if you've already subscribed, thank you so very much. I appreciate it. So until next time, have a great day. Bye for now.